award-winning composer Andrew Schultz is familiar with breaking new ground. His chamber and orchestral music, along with his opera, have been played to audiences around the world. His latest work is another first for Australia, an unusual 9-part song cycle inspired by the epitaphs on headstones found in the dramatic seaside cemeteries of New South Wales.
It's very difficult to say what the actual trigger was for writing dead songs. Then looking at some of the epitaphs, they do have musical qualities. There's a sort of something in them often, I think, which is sort of crying out to be set almost. So that was sort of an inspiration then to look at some of those words and wonder what could happen to them if you put music to them. Almost a seminal preoccupation of music is dealing with grief, I think, and dealing with passing. And I think it's perhaps because music transcends sort of verbal things and can actually speak directly to people's emotions in a way that often touches fairly profound feelings that are sort of locked up inside. So I think that, you know, apart from love, death is the great theme, really. The most important stage in some ways is what happens when I then get to the computer and start playing around with possibilities. It's a great advantage to be able to play back a piece at the computer and to be able to hear the detail of it, particularly if you're writing a fast piece. For example, in the fourth song in Dead Songs, Little Jackie, Ahead of His Time, it's a very fast song and it's continual motion. Our little treasure, our little joy, our little sunbeam, our darling boy. Little Jackie, killed by a taxicab, 1911, struck me as a very futuristic way to die.
He bade us goodbye, his heart full of hope.
Gently his voice calling, come, how we miss his dear face.
When he left us that day, the grim hand
on
of
his
death.
silent grave, we're sleeping without dreams.
So gentle and kind, how we miss his dear.
Love knows no death, spirits meet.
There's a simplicity of expression about many of the epitaphs which is really attractive to me. Often it's in the choice of language, which although awkward has a sincerity which is expressive of people trying to come to grips with something as profound as death and trying to find words in their own sort of stumbling way to express that feeling. Because the sea is so present, the elements are so strong here, there's wind and rain in the winter months, which is very destructive to the headstones, and so there is this great wearing away of people's sentiment. So many of the headstones are falling apart, literally, and so you lose the ends of lines from texts. Initially, my instinct was to complete things, to reconstruct the text, you know, just sort of this bourgeois instinct to make everything nice and pretty. But I thought, no, this is a sort of powerful metaphor in itself, to leave the ends of the lines unspoken, as though something which couldn't quite be said because it's disintegrated its past, to simply leave it as it was, as a sort of half-damaged, half-destroyed, decrepit object. I came across headstones which related to the shipping disaster in Sydney Harbour in 1927, when a large steamer collided with a ferry called the Grey Cliff, and 40 people were killed in this accident. I thought it was very evocative to actually give the piece some sort of context, some sort of real connection to people related to a death, or deaths no more than a kilometre away, in the harbour where people cross every day and think very little about the possibility of it being their last act. There's a sort of wistful quality, I think, to some of these cemeteries in the way that the tombs all look out towards the sea, as if the souls of the dead can somehow return to Europe, to their homeland. I don't know what people think. I mean, it's always very difficult to judge other people's opinions. I suspect some people would regard it as perverse or morbid. That's all right. I'm a composer. That's perfectly normal for composers.
That's our program for tonight. Next week on Compass, the troubled history of the Dead Sea Scrolls. The secrecy, academic rivalry and debate surrounding these documents is just as intriguing as the scrolls themselves.
But I don't know. Everything is so secretive. That's the problem with the whole Qumran phenomenon. Everywhere you ask a simple question, you must find this very surprising. You ask simple questions, and the simpler the question, the less likely you are to get an answer.
That's Enigma of the Dead Sea Scrolls, next Sunday night on Compass. Hope you can join us. Good night.
Tomorrow in Four Corners, Paul Barry continues his look at the rise and fall of Alan Bond. One of our richest, most celebrated businessmen is now, with the help of family and friends, probably our wealthiest bankrupt. Rich Man, Poor Man, an exclusive investigation on Four Corners tomorrow night at 8:30 on ABC.